Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome on into the first episode of the Factory of Mock Drafts. I'm Brian Philos, my co-host Matt. We've got a lot of Browns talk for you as far as the draft coming up, a lot of general NFL talk coming up for you. And this is our first show ever, so welcome on in. Matt, how we doing today, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. My favorite time of year. It's the only thing to look forward to for a Browns fan.
The Browns fans, we do love our mock drafts. A lot of people say that the draft season is our Super Bowl season, right?
Oh yeah, it's all we got.
Well, and being part of the network 216, obviously Matt and I are both Browns fans. We'll talk a lot about Browns needs, overlooks, what the Browns are looking at coming into the draft, and so on. So, Matt, why don't you start us off, buddy? I mean, can you give us a rough idea for those out there that maybe don't know what picks do the Browns have, and give me a little outlook for their draft coming up here?
Well, I will. As of right now, well, I guess it is finalized. Um, we obviously have the sixth overall pick, which is a kind of a big dispute right now between Browns fans. What we should do. We have two major needs: wide receiver and offensive line. I was really high up until about 2 days ago on Carnell Tate. I'm not saying anything. I wouldn't take him now. I'm not downgrading him. I'm just thinking I would much rather, I think, have one of the offensive tackles, top two guys, either Fano or Francis. I'm not even going to try his last name because Fatty's just going to make fun of me for that one. But between those two, I think those would shore up our right tackle spot. Then we secured the 24th overall pick after the games this weekend, which is our draft pick, our trade from last year with Jacksonville. With that being said, that is another obvious contention between Browns fans. Do we go double offensive tackle? Do we just go opposite whatever we did with the sixth pick? And it obviously all considers what happens with the previous five picks before our sixth pick happens. Because if Tate ends up off the board, he's pretty much my consensus number one wide receiver in the draft this year. So I don't really want to touch the other guy out of Arizona because the injuries, 3 years in a row, three injuries. It's too high of a draft pick for me to risk it, I think.
Well, and then outside of those first two picks, I mean, obviously the other picks we've got in the top 100, which I would say are the most valuable, right? You've got pick 39, which is the second round pick, seventh pick overall in that round. Pick number 70, which is round 3, pick 6. And then next one right outside of the top 100 is 107. We've got round 4, pick 7. Then after that, you've got 3 fifth-round picks, a sixth-round pick, and a seventh-round pick, totaling in 10 picks total for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I think we probably had the most maybe rookies, if not one of the most rookie classes on our team this year. I don't think you can draft 10 players if you're the Cleveland Browns this year and play them all. So do you think that whether it's trading up, trading down, whatever it is, moving out of the seventh round, do you think they end up with 10 players this year out of the draft?
We might actually end up with more, especially if we trade back with that sixth pick. I mean, there's a couple teams after us that might be fighting for a higher draft pick. You got the Rams with 2 picks. You got Dallas with 2 picks. They might see somebody up there that they want to steal from somebody else. You know, they might want to go after Caleb Downs, or they might want to go after one of those wide receivers that we're not willing to risk it on. And we might end up with more. I'm not saying we won't trade some of those later round draft picks to move closer up into the top 100. But this offensive line draft, from the videos I've been watching and the film from these players that are coming out this year, it's deep.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, you've already mentioned some of our needs. Obviously, you mentioned offensive line and wide receiver. I would say interior defensive line, your tackles, linebacker also needs. And then even though I'm a big fan of Shador, there's a high chance that, maybe he plays out well, maybe he doesn't. So I think there's still a need at quarterback that's kind of unsolved at this moment.
I don't think
With
this draft is. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think this draft is the draft for us to be going after a quarterback. We obviously don't have one of the first two picks. We're not going to get a Mendoza. We're not going to get a Moore. Everyone else is kind of, they're not worthy of that first round pick. So we're not obviously going to waste the first round pick on a quarterback again. But I don't think we go with a quarterback this year in the draft.
I agree with you. Now, I know I've seen some of your mock drafts, but I won't spoil it for the fans. I mean, do you think what is the highest that you think realistically the Browns could draft? Maybe a backup quarterback. We're talking third round, fifth round. What would you be comfortable with if you're the Browns?
Well, the one me and Fatty been bugging you about, Carson Beck. He's been in some of my mock. I had to do it. Some of the mock drafts I've been doing up until he's there until late fifth, early sixth round. I mean, if we have to pick up a quarterback to use as a backup, but like we were saying in the Browns pregame show that we were doing the other day, we're gonna have 4 quarterbacks on this roster. I mean, Deshaun Watson, you can't cut him. He's going to be there.
Yep. I don't think they keep Dylan Gabriel. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to make this roster next year. I don't know if they can get anything for him in trade, maybe a bag of potato chips or something, but
so I go to a lot of the teams' main sites for their draft boards, and I was on the Rams, and they had us they picked it for them to trade for him and give us a 7th round pick, which go for it.
Sure. Why not?
Anything's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, exactly. There is a big potential problem I see that is going to impact our draft as far as the Cleveland Browns go. For those of you that don't know, there are a ton of Browns players that are going to be hitting free agency this offseason. Some of the names, I'll just list them off. I mean, there's a lot of impact players. So I want to know your opinion, Matt, on who you think we should prioritize, or maybe just who you'd like to see stick around. Obviously, we can't keep all of them, but here's the list of free agents that the Browns have coming up this offseason. Devin Bush, Ronnie Hickman Jr., David Njoku, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Cam Robinson, Ethan Pochich, Shelby Harris, Corey Bajorquez, Jerome Ford, Martin Emerson, Malachi Corley, Mohamed Diabate. I mean, it's a long list, and those are just the big names. I left out some of the maybe not so popular folks. So, Matt, who on that list do you think is a priority? Who's maybe your number one priority in the offseason?
Bush. We can't lose him. Our defense, if we lose him, our defense is going to take a step back, and then we're going to be drafting defensive players, wasting picks that we could have been using on actual holes that are needed now just by re-signing him. I mean, some of them, I say everyone on the line, some of them are going to retire, I think, but I say let them all walk. Everyone on the line. I heard today, saw a video that Njoku's saying his time in Cleveland's pretty much done, which sucks, but I think we hit the mother load in the draft last year with Fannin. I mean, it sucks to say we're replacing Njoku, but I think we found a suitable replacement for him. We could obviously, I mean, I don't know what do you think about with the second pick? Instead of going wide receiver, we get that tight end out of Oregon.
No, thank you. I don't think he'll be there.
Okay.
But even if he was, I don't think you're going. Obviously, it depends on who our coach is, right? But I don't think you're going with a coach that's most likely. You're not going with a coach that's like Kevin Stefanski, right? So you're not going to be in a lot of 12 personnel. You're not going to be running a lot of 2 tight end sets. I think having one great tight end is really great, right? Is a good thing for most teams. So Unless you're planning on sticking with this Kevin Stefanski scheme, which I don't see happening, you don't really need another tight end of high quality, right? In my opinion. And out of the top, 60 players, there was only the one tight end that I saw on that list. What is it, Sadiq?
Yeah.
Out of Oregon. Yeah. So I don't think he's going to be there at 24. Obviously, I certainly wouldn't pick him with 6. And you just got Fannin. He's on a cheap deal. Maybe sign some lower end, high quality blockers, low quality pass catchers that are not going to cost a fortune, right? I don't want to bring back Njoku either. I think
It's going to cost too much money.
Yeah, 100%. And even with the little break that we're going to get from Deshaun Watson's injury on the salary cap this year, it's not like we're going to be rolling in the money. I did see it's funny that Andrew Berry comes from the Philadelphia Eagles lineage, because the Eagles are the only team other than the Browns that have money pushed out further and more money pushed out in the future years than the Browns do. So it's out of the 32 teams, we are second place in that. So
hey, we're top 5 in something.
Whoa, there you go. So I think all that can affect the Browns. Now, we've talked offensive line, wide receiver. Would you bring back Hickman? What about Emerson? Would you bring back Pochich, center?
I don't think I'd bring anyone back from this line.
Okay.
We were the worst line in the league for a reason. I think we need a fresh restart. And not to mention anybody we get in the draft or free agency that we're going to pick up that we're going to be able to afford is going to be cheaper than any of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. So what about Hickman or Emerson? Would you bring either of those guys back?
For the right price. Yeah, obviously, it's good. Anything we bring back, the situation we're in with Watson's money, it's going to have to be an extremely team-friendly deal.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. Okay, well, what about the Browns in general? I know you've done a lot of mocks. I've only gone until about the 3rd round. So I've done trade downs, trade ups, all the above. What for the top? 4 picks in the top 100? What do you think is a necessity that the Browns walk away with in these top 4 picks?
3 starting linemen. We're not. It sucks to say, none of our picks are going to be flashy.
Nope.
We need the meat and potatoes right now. We need people that can block for us. We need. Junkin's coming back. He's not going to be able to run the ball if we don't have a line. He's just going to get hurt again. Our receivers are not going to be able to get open. Who knows? We get a fresh line. Does Judy turn around? If he's still on the team and we don't trade him.
I don't think they're trading him. I don't think Barry's going to give up on him that easily. You know what I mean?
It took how many years to give up on Stefanski?
I don't think that was a Barry pick or a Barry option, right? But
he got hired, 2 weeks before Stefanski?
Yeah. No. It was Stefanski first, then Barry came after.
Yeah, you're right.
I wanted to ask your interest. I know this isn't kind of really part of the show, but one of my buddies said he's got a lot of interest in bringing Tyler Linderbaum. I know this is kind of just dropping this on you. He's the
center,
the center out of Baltimore. That's according to all the statistics, he's the best blocking center in the league for the last couple of years. Any interest in bringing him to Cleveland?
So it's funny you mentioned that. I was actually reading an article on this today. I like the kid. I think if we can get a hold of him and not have to draft a center and get someone, I mean, he's arguably what, top 5 in the league probably.
Probably.
If we can get him on a deal that doesn't break the bank, I think we pay the man. That
For
would be
sure.
my pick to splurge this offseason.
Hmm.
He would be my number 1 target.
Well, I
Especially if
guess it's a good thing I brought it up.
especially if Harbaugh's our coach. If we end up getting Harbaugh somehow.
Jeez. Well, keep dreaming, buddy.
Oh, I know.
Well, and that's obviously one thing that's going to highly impact this show and highly impact the draft is who the head coach is going to be, what direction we go, whether we keep Jim Schwartz, whether we don't. I've also seen some people say to try and prioritize some of those special teams. I mean, obviously, we know our special teams were trash this year. I think a lot of that was on coaching, but some people are saying to prioritize some of those special teams players, so to speak, towards the end of the draft. Is that a strategy that you agree with?
So with most of the mocks I've been doing, I've been trying to fill our major holes in the first 4 rounds, at least. Get a wide receiver we can legit call a wide receiver 1 in Cleveland. I don't know if he'd be a wide receiver 1 on other teams, but for us, compared to what we've had, I want at least, like I said, 2, if not 3 offensive linemen that could start year 1, and then go from there. I think after that point, it's just best available for holes we have.
Hear you. I'm with you. All right. Well, let's get into the fun part of the show. Right. Let's stop talking about the miserable Browns and let's transition on over to a mock draft. So we're going to do a mock draft live. For those of you following, you can see on the bottom of the screen we've got the most up-to-date list of picks per team. Obviously, the ones that have not been decided yet are those towards the end with the playoffs still going. Matt and I are going to flip a coin to see who's going to go first. Then we will alternate who is going to pick each pick, mostly based on team needs, what we know about the teams, what we've seen in the mocks. We're going to do a live draft here, so feel free to get in on the comments while we're debating on what we want to do. Maybe you can jump in and tell us what we should or shouldn't do. Feel free to criticize our picks, make fun. Matt loves the people on Twitter that criticize his picks. So
Love it.
Give him all the juice, baby. Give it all the juice. So Matt, why don't you go ahead and kick us off here and flip that coin there. I'll call it while it's flipping. I want tails. Dang. All right.
Let me get this draft board pulled up real quick.
Yeah, Matt, you go ahead and pull up the draft board. So Matt will pull up the draft board. He's going to be drafting first overall. Now, again, we're going to go just team by team, just as it is in the draft. So it will be first pick on the board, and we're not doing any trades, by the way. So
no, we're not doing any trades until at least the draft order's secure.
Yep. So with the first pick on the clock, the Las Vegas Raiders are here. And Matt, you've had 4 months to think about what you want to do in the offseason as the Las Vegas Raiders. What are you doing?
As of now, it's a no-brainer. I'm going Mendoza out of Indiana.
I don't disagree with you there. I think – go ahead.
I don't think there's any other option. I don't think Moore's even close.
I agree with you there, without a doubt. Especially after that performance that he just put up in the playoff. That's a no-brainer. And obviously we don't know for sure at this point whether Moore is even coming out or not for certain. But I think the general idea is that it's the most likely outcome, and the Jets are just as about. So let's just. The the Jets are now on the clock, and I'm making that pick. So with the second pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select quarterback out of Oregon, Dante Moore. I as a Browns fan, I hope the Browns stay away from Dante Moore. Apparently, he has a huge upside. I think he's young. I don't think he's played enough in college. I think he's kind of shown that he's a system quarterback. And maybe I have a little bit of the ick from Dylan Gabriel being an Oregon quarterback. Maybe that's unfair, but thank you, New York Jets, for taking that and making it an easier selection for the Browns when they come up here in a couple picks. So with the number 3 pick, the Arizona Cardinals are on the board.
So with the Cardinals have 2 holes that I'm kind of determining on with this. They do need line help, whoever the quarterback's going to be. That's also going to determine who the coach is, because they're obviously another team without a coach right now. They also need linebackers. But I think with this, it is very hard to pass on Arvo Reese out of Ohio State. So with the 3rd pick, I'm going to go Arvo Reese, Ohio State linebacker.
Go Bucks, as my good friend Tyvis Powell would say. So you've got Arvell Reese, which now leads us to the Tennessee Titans. And as I've got the Tennessee Titans needs pulled up here, it looks like, I mean, obviously not we all, but a lot of people watch the Tennessee Titans this year. They do have quite a few needs on their team. One of the biggest, I think, is wide receiver. Next, I think, is the cornerbacks group. And then I think just about every team in the league could use more edge rush for pass rush inconsistency there. So if I'm them, I am actually torn right now between Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs, and Ruben Bain. But I think you can't pass up on prioritizing the edge rusher here. I think that is the move for the Tennessee Titans. Ruben Bain Jr., edge rusher out of Miami.
I had the same exact pick.
Yeah, buddy. So that moves us on to the 5th pick overall, which is the New York Giants. Matt, take us away, buddy.
So with the Giants here, according to their needs, based on the site I was looking at, their number 1 need is wide receiver. They have the young quarterback. They have the young running back. They're going to be getting a new coach, but I think it's kind of hard to pass here. It sucks as a Browns fan to call this name out, but we're going to have the 2nd Buckeyes coming off the board. Let's go Buckeyes, Carnell Tate, number 5 to the Giants.
Well, as you know, that pains me as a Browns fan, but as it is, it happens. So that would actually, I guess, ease your mind a little bit, since you're so concerned about him.
I'm not concerned about him. I think we have bigger holes to fill than a wide receiver. We're 3 years away from being consistent.
Okay, fair enough. So that leaves us to the Browns at 6. Now, I personally would highly be looking into trading down a couple spots here. I would really love to see them trade down with like the Saints, maybe the Chiefs, as low as I would go. If you can get maybe an extra second or something. Obviously, we're not doing that here today. The number 1 player on the board that I see as far as like best player available currently says Caleb Downs. I am going straight to an offensive tackle if it's me. And the highest rated offensive tackle, according to the people that I follow right now, oh man, I can't even pronounce his name, Francis Mayoga.
Absolutely.
Out of Miami. I've seen some people that have Fano above him, but I'm going with Francis. at the number 6 pick for the Cleveland Browns, which then shifts us over back to Matt. At pick number 7, you have got the Washington Commanders, which were kind of a bust this year.
I think injuries had a lot to do with that. When you lose your quarterback for over half the season. Wide receiver. Washington Commanders have some holes to fill here. They're another one of the multiple teams that need edge rushers. I got them listed as needing safeties, wide receivers, edge, and linebackers. I think with this pick, I am going to take the second edge rusher off the board. I'm going to get Kendrick Folk, edge out of Auburn. Shore up their defense. They can worry about wide receivers and the other needs later in the draft, but give their defense a little boost. Hopefully, their quarterback comes back next year and he's healthy, and they can actually produce something and repeat the year before.
Love it. Okay. Well, that moves us on to me with the 8th pick in the draft. It is the New Orleans Saints. From my research, and again, the research that I did for those that are following along, it is based on a projection of, obviously things could change based on free agents, that these teams lose, free agents that these teams pick up, right? So this is kind of obviously projected, but right now, the biggest needs for the Saints are offensive line, safety, and defensive tackle. Now, again, obviously, I still have Caleb Downs as the number 1 pick on the board here, but since safeties are so lowly on this, I am going to go ahead and take the next tackle, Spencer Fano. We're going to go need here. I think that's what the Saints do. Instead of best player available, they go need, which is then going to leave Kansas City on the clock with a few studs left on the board. And Matt, at number 9, what would you do if you were Kansas City here?
So a lot of Kansas City this year was kind of weird for them. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of nice not having them in the playoffs for once.
Oh, for sure.
They need help on offense. I think that's their biggest need, especially if Kelsey retires. They're going to lose their number 1 target right now. So I have 2 options right here. I'm kind of torn between this, but I think we're going to see a running back come off the board at number 9. Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame.
Love it.
Give Patrick Mahomes a little freedom from the backfield. Hopefully it's true running back 1 for them that can actually produce. Not only that, be a nice little receiving running back for Mahomes to throw his little sideways dive passes to.
Oh, yeah. That would be, I think, the ideal pick for the Kansas City Chiefs right there. Now, I think if you're a Bengals fan and you're at number 10 right now, you're doing backflips, because one of the positions that you absolutely need also happens to be a position that a player who some consider a top, 3 talent in this draft just so happens to fall to you at. So I'm not going to think too hard on this. I'm going to go Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State, with the Bengals' 10th overall pick, which then, we're Ohio State fans here. I don't think, and most people listening probably are as well, I don't think we need to go too much into the details there. But then we jump to number 11 with the Miami Dolphins. Matt, what do you got for us with that pick?
So from the draft boards I've been watching and research I've been doing on Miami on their boards, sounds like their consensus is they need a help in the secondary. It's what their fans are calling for, and I'm going to go with the fans on this one. I'm going to take the first cornerback off the board. I'm going to take Delaney, cornerback out of LSU, help their secondary.
Love it. Delaney.
Kind of sucks having to cross these off as we go.
You just want the Browns to draft them all, huh?
Well, no, what I'm saying is I wrote all these down in order. I did a 32 list, and then my list kind of gets skewed because I'm not making every pick for every team like I normally do. I'm not used to having someone else picking every other pick. So you might take someone I already had slotted for somebody else. So,
That's the excitement of the draft, buddy.
oh, no place I'd rather be.
I don't know about you. I'd rather be in Mexico right now than in a hotel room, but
You got
I am
you got
enjoying
about
myself.
you got about 4 days, right?
That's right. That's right. A couple more days. So now we move into the Dallas Cowboys pick at number 12. Uh, I mean, what can you say? They need defense, 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 right? They need linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, pass rushers. They obviously also need tackles. So I am going to go. Uh, I'm going to skip the best defensive player on here available, and I am going to go with a run on cornerbacks, even though I think it's only going to be probably a two-person pick. I'm going to go with Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee, cornerback. As right now, I've got number one. That would be Woods out of Clemson, but I don't think they need too much help in the interior defensive line. So with that, we move on to the Los Angeles Rams at pick number 13. Matt, what do you got?
So this pick's kind of. I think when they made this trade initially, they were hoping the pick was going to be high enough that one of these quarterbacks were going to be there for them to hopefully find Stafford as replacement of the future, so he could sit behind him. Pull the old
Well,
Green Bay card.
you still
Um,
got Ty Simpson on the board there.
no, I'm good. Um, with this pick, I think their best bet on this one. I'm gonna do a little jump ahead in this one. I'm gonna have to find him on this list, but I
Oh boy.
think they're gonna secure this offensive lineup to protect
Okay.
Stafford for however long he's going to be there. I am going to go with Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama.
Okay. So we are 13 picks in, and 3 tackles are already off the board. So good thing the Browns got one at number 6, I guess, in this
You're
draft
welcome.
anyway.
You're welcome.
All right. So that brings us to pick 14, the Baltimore Ravens, one of our rivals, and they're going to have a new head coach. So another wild card. Bobby C, welcome on in, buddy. Giving us the old salute there. We appreciate you for listening in. Bobby, feel free to criticize, tell us if we're doing great at the picks that we're making, or feel free to poke fun. Bobby, let us know. Oh, you're a Browns fan. Okay, let us know who you want. At the very least, let us know who you want at 24 if you're the Browns. Okay, so let me focus back in here. Baltimore Ravens, pick number 14. The Ravens, the needs that I have seen are edge rushers. I think they're going to lose a few in free agency, interior offensive line to protect Lamar, and then they do have some depth concern at cornerback. So let me fall down here. I am going to go. So I'm between Bailey and Parker here. I am going to go with TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson, as the number 14 pick for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure where they are on your list. There. Oh, you already found them. You do too many of these. I have to search sometimes when people surprise me,
I think I secure about 5 hours a day on this site. Thank God they don't
Love it.
charge.
Love it. Then we got game time Bobby G in the house. Bobby G, welcome, buddy. I hope you're Hope you're enjoying out there and staying warm in nice, warm Las Vegas. Hope you're enjoying the show, bud. So, all right, now we move on to, I think, Tampa Bay, right? Uh,
Yes.
Pick number 15. So, Matt, what do you got, bud?
So I'm gonna pull a wild card on this one. From some
Okay.
things I've been reading, I think we are gonna get our former quarterback a big time target, and we're gonna pull a tight end off the board here and go with Sadiq out of Oregon.
Okay.
Give him his version of Njoku, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe with a solid tight end, especially I think Otten's about to retire. That wide receiver core is constantly injured. Give him someone sturdy enough to survive the hits, and we're gonna go with a tight end here. I was torn between that and Sonny Styles, but I think Baker needs some weapons. You got to help the quarterback while he's there.
Hmm. Absolutely. 100%. And you know, Baker loves him some tight ends, right? We know that from our time here with him in Cleveland. And yeah, so that brings us to would that be number 15 with the New York Jets, or number 16 with the New York Jets. So things are starting to get a little wonky here for me. I was not expecting some of this. So but
I got to throw a wrench in it.
you did good. You did good. I did not expect Sadiq to go that high. That's okay though. It's very, very possible. I with the New York Jets, they've already secured their quarterback. They obviously already have a number one wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. So I think even though there are some folks high up here, I think biggest thing they need after getting rid of Sauce is a cornerback and some offensive line help. And the next cornerback that I have, let's see here. So I'm between a few here, but I'm going to go with Avion Terrell, cornerback Clemson. I'm just picking all the Clemson players today. I've got him as the next best cornerback off the board. So the New York Jets acquire their quarterback of the future and their cornerback of the future. And here we go. We've got Jared Bates jumping in, making fun of us for being nerds. Fatty, just remember that's who runs the Browns organization right now and who has run it for the last 6 years. Bunch of nerds. So
Always got to hate on the analytic guys.
yeah, always the analytics. You would think Fatty would be a big fan of the analytics with all the success we've had so far. Oh man, I digress. We move on. We move on. So on to the Lions at pick number 16. It's hard for me to see.
Yes, 17. We are at
17.
17. So I had one word written down for the Lions pick here, and it was just O line.
Mm.
I think we're going to see our fourth tackle come off the board here. And I think the solid left tackle out of Utah, Lomu, is going to be going to the Lions.
Okay. I do not mind that because I am still keeping an eye on the Browns pick. So I do like that.
I think he is a legit day one starter for left tackle in the league. Obviously, he's with his build, he's I think only 300 pounds, so he's got the fit to actually move around on that line too as needed for the Lions. But I think he is a solid left tackle. Arguably, some people say he's better than Fano. It all depends on which board you're looking at, who comes off first. But in this case, he doesn't make it past 17 at the Lions.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, I am. We have Mr. Bailey here. We are going to go. I now have the Minnesota Vikings pick at number 18 biggest needs that I've seen that they need is offensive line. Both run and pass protection has been horrible this year. Safety, they're weak on the back end, and then edge rushers. I think they just need more edge rushers. I'm going to say that this is where David Bailey ends up, edge rusher out of Texas Tech. I could easily see him in that Flores scheme flourishing. And so that's where I'm going there, which will then bring us to the Panthers, who are fresh off of a loss in the number 19 pick here. Matt, what do you got for us there?
So this was the final landing spot for Sadiq for me. I wasn't going to let him drop past the Panthers. I believe, I could be wrong on this. I'm not a Panthers fan. I don't watch too many of their games, but I think, nor follow them too well. But I think the last 3 years they've taken a wide receiver in the first round. And they still need wide receiver help, it looks like.
Yep.
But I don't think they're going to go that route here. I have them taking, let me find him. I have them pulling, where the heck is he on this list?
So obviously you're not going with Tyson.
No.
Staying away from him, injury prone. Mekhi Lemon.
He's pretty far on this list, but I have him a lot higher on my list. I'm going to take Cassius Howe here, Texas A&M edge rusher.
Okay.
I think he had 12 sacks this year. That's going to greatly boost their defense. He's going to be a day one starter for them, and that is going to greatly, I think, improve their performance next year, as long as everything stays the same as how they were this year.
Sure. Okay. Well, that brings us to the Dallas Cowboys. I get to pick for the Cowboys again. I almost want to just pick another cornerback here, but I am going to go completely off the board here. We are going to go with the best defensive player available on my list, not named or not being a cornerback, in another Ohio State player, a linebacker, Sonny Styles, gets plucked off the board there. What's that, the third or fourth Ohio State Buckeye picked? And then we would then, and obviously that was the pick that was traded from the Packers, which they lost in the playoffs. And then you'll be moving on to pick number 21, Matt, there with the Pittsburgh Squealers.
I called my cousin this morning. Well, it wasn't this morning. It was afternoon, after he's a big Steelers fan. I was talking to him about it, who he wanted in the draft, what was going on with the coach, what they wanted to do. And his only answer to me was, he's like, it's kind of hard to pick when we just need best available, which I believe is true for the Steelers. They seem to always go that route. But I think Jordan Tyson finally comes off the board here, and the Steelers get somebody to pair up with DK. And we're going to go Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State.
No Ty Simpson, huh?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we move on to pick 22 with the Los Angeles Chargers. After we watch that game, I don't think it's too much of a more obvious thing that the Chargers need interior offensive line help badly. And so I am going to go with a need versus top player available, and I'm going to go with a guy that I am going to butcher his name, and I'm going to help Matt out so he doesn't have to try. Olave Vega Ione, guard out of Penn State, goes straight to the Chargers, and they cannot be more happy to run to the board with that pick, in my opinion, which should shore up at least one position for them on the offensive line in the draft there. So Now we move on to pick number 23 with the Philadelphia Eagles, who, now that I've followed Philadelphia Eagles fans for the last year, fresh off of a Super Bowl, you know they're going to boo no matter what you do. So at pick number 23, what do you see happening there, Matt?
They got a couple holes. They definitely need an offensive line. And like every other team, they could always use some edge rushers. But I'm torn on this one. I am very torn because I have a feeling that AJ Brown might have played his last game in Philly, and they're not
Don't do it. Don't
they're
do
not,
it.
they're gonna need some wide receiver help. So I'm gonna go Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver.
Great. And as the Browns general manager, picking at number 24, I just take a deep breath because now I get to pick the player that I wanted to pick here. Kind of all along, if we pick a tackle first round.
Fatty in the comment section.
I see this. So we've got Fatty who says, number one, Brian, I need my readers. I'm working off one screen here today, Fatty, being in the hotel room. I don't have my 3 screens. So, I'm working off of an old school piece of paper. Fatty says, Carson Beck to the Browns. And then he says, Beck. And we got Bobby G jumping in. Kai Simpson. I hate to disappoint Browns fans. The Brian Philos general manager is not going with a quarterback. So everybody can calm down. I would like the Browns to select Mr. Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. I think he will be a clear number. Oh, I'm getting boos. Oh, boo. I wish I had my soundboard right now. I actually have a boo button on there. I'll bring that next for the next show, Fatty. That way you guys can boo me. Matt, what would you have done there if you were the Browns, out of just curiosity?
95% of if I go OT in the first pick with the Browns, 95% of them ends up with Denzel Boston in the second pick.
Love it.
I was torn between him and Concepcion, but I went height.
Exactly. Same here.
Height matters to me. I'm sick of sub 6 foot wide receivers.
We got enough of those. Oh boy. All right. Well, that brings us to the Bears, which, for clarity, I don't think are going to be drafting anywhere near here because I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. But the Bears with the number 25th pick. Matt, what say you, buddy?
So I had written down on my list a defensive tackle, but that defensive tackle is not the best defensive tackle on the board anymore because Peter Woods fell. So they're going to run to the board and turn in the card for Peter Woods, defensive tackle, another Clemson player.
Now, I find it strange. I'm working on 2 different lists, speaking of Peter Woods. So as I was doing my research for our show tonight, some of these websites, draft boards, what have you, top players list have Woods in the top 5. Some of them have him as high as the second best player coming out of college football this year. Some of them have him down in the low, where you selected them, and even lower. So you've done more research than me. What is the huge discrepancy there from all the boards with Woods, do you think? Is it just the position, or?
I think it's the position. I will be the first one to admit I haven't done much research on him, minus watching a little bit of game film from his past. But that's going to be something to dig into later in the season for us on this podcast, because I got my list on who I'm watching. 2 kids at home under 3. It's kind of hard to do too much watching.
What do you mean? Come on. No,
listen, I've had two trips to the 1 trip to the ER and 1 trip to urgent care with the kids in the last 4 days. There has not been much football watching in this house this weekend.
Yeah, that does not sound like fun. Hope that the kids are doing all right.
They're full of piss and vinegar now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said give him a cookie, right, or a banana and let him run around then, right?
Right?
Um,
4:30 in the morning.
so obviously we move on to the Buffalo Bills then at pick number 26 here. And it seems that, likely, they would want to get rid of Josh Allen, right? They want to get a quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. I'm thinking cornerback, defensive line, maybe even a tight end. But again, Matt took the only tight end off the board in the top like 60 picks. So not going that route. I am going to go with Colton Hood, cornerback out of Colorado for the Buffalo Bills. He's another one, I guess as we move along here, all these ones moving forward are going to be highly disparaged between different rankings. Some have him as high as 15. I see him at 30, 35, all over the place. So, but I would go with him. And then that brings us to Matt at 27 with the San Francisco 49ers.
So with the 49ers, I don't understand this team. I think the football gods hate them because anyone that touches that field gets hurt.
Mm. And they still win.
And they still win. I think I saw a TikTok today. It was the funniest thing I've seen all week. The guy, I forget which, I apologize. I don't remember the guy's name that did it. But he was showing that every single player that gets hurt, they just repurpose that player's soul into Christian McCaffrey and just make him that much better. And that's the only thing they need to win. But with that being said, they need some help on offense, especially with whatever just happened with Ayuk. That was the weirdest situation this year anyway for me. But I think Casey Concepcion falls off the board here, and they get the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. I think Brock Purdy gets another weapon, and we'll see him in the playoffs again next year with 17 injuries. Every year. I don't understand it. Browns can't win nothing, but they can win with their third string at every position.
That's the magic of Kyle Shanahan, and that's why he put together a whatever it was 300-page PowerPoint as to why the Browns should have let him out of his contract when
who wrote that for him?
Probably ChatGPT.
No,
Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels wrote that for him.
I'm not surprised. We move on to the Texans at number 28. I am going to say the biggest problem for the Texans is their offensive line. And I am going to go with the best offensive lineman that I think is still on the board, a Ohio native, a Cleveland area native, Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson.
Good choice.
With the number 28th pick, which would then jump us to the second pick for the Rams in this draft, which we are projecting at the 29th pick. Matt, take us away, pal.
So I just had to scroll back because I already forgot who we took in the first pick for him, even though I made the pick. So they went offensive tackle in the first. Their other need, I think, here is let me move this to the all. Their other pick is cornerback. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of my screen's freaking out. I apologize, people. I am going to go cornerback anyway. I'm actually going to take that cornerback out of South Carolina, Brandon Cease. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Fatty can correct me, make fun of me. My pronunciation of names are terrible.
Fatty knows how to pronounce everything and says none of it. He just lets us fail at it. He loves watching us fail. All right, and that brings us on to the 30th pick. We've got 4 picks left in this draft. No, 3 picks. I was right the first time. 30th pick in the draft is the New England Patriots. Now this, I'm a little torn here. I think the Patriots are in need of a true number one receiver. I don't think there's anybody left that could fit that mold. Um, they need offensive line help, especially at tackle. They need more depth. They need edge rusher help. But ultimately, the board I'm looking at, there's Trevor Gooseby. I don't know how you pronounce that, out of Texas. You've still got Dunker out of Iowa at tackle, but I think with Vrabel being a defensive-minded guy, I think he goes with C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia, and just a player that he goes just top of the board rather than what the needs are, which is typically what the smarter teams do, and hopefully gets a good linebacker in Allen there. So Ted takes us to the Denver Broncos, who in this mock will lose the Super Bowl to the Seattle Seahawks. So at pick number 31, Matt, who do you see the Broncos picking?
I think we got another Buckeye coming off the board here. I'm going to throw a defensive player their way, defensive tackle, Caden McDonald. I think they need a little bit of defensive help. They also need wide receiver, but like you said, there's kind of a fall off at this point going to the next grouping of the wide receivers on this list, because I think the only ones we have, it drops down to Chris Bell, and then it drops into according to this draft board anyway, into the 40s and 50s for the picks. I don't think they're going to waste a first rounder on that. Not saying it would be a waste, because obviously there's always that Puka or somebody, and obviously they get paid a lot more money to do this than I do, so they might have a little more insight. But I think they're going to go defensive, safe pick, get Caden McDonald.
Okay. All right. And that leaves us to the 32nd pick in the draft with the Seattle Seahawks, who are fresh off of a Super Bowl championship, which I don't think they're going to have. But they are projected to be the worst interior offensive line in the league. And I think they are going to highly prioritize fixing that interior offensive line this offseason. And I believe that at pick number 32, they will be taking Emmanuel Pregnon, guard out of Oregon, is my guess for the last bit. Fatty also said that I needed to buy some stock in Clemson. He said he don't know SHIT. I messed up 6 names tonight on illegal ham with coaches for the Browns. Glad we can all suffer in the misery of trying to pronounce people's names that we don't know. All right.
I mess up people's names I do know.
That's true. That's true. It can be hard sometimes. So you can see here on the board, you've got our full mock there. So people that are listening in the future, please feel free to take a look, watch the show on YouTube. Any likes, subscribes, comments, we appreciate them all. But there's our beautiful mock draft there, our first edit. Matt, how you feeling about this? You think this is pretty close to what we might see on April 23rd?
If everything based off of right now results were true, yes. Obviously, we have the Senior Bowl coming up. We have the Combine, which is going to probably fluctuate a lot of this. This is a super early mock draft. They're fun to do, but you never know what's going to change between now and draft day. I mean, there's a million things that could happen. Obviously, free agency is going to affect that, trades. But with the information we have now, I think this is pretty close. I'm really happy with the Browns draft. I have them taking this exact route multiple times with these same 2 players. Now with that, most of the time when I'm doing those drafts, I'm just picking for the Browns, so the computer's simulating the rest of them to help me keep my bias out of saving somebody for the Browns at the 24th pick. But I think this is pretty close. The only thing I might see change is you might see Buffalo go wide receiver. Obviously, the Rams, they might not jump for that offensive tackle. Somebody might, as Game Time Bobby G said, Ty Simpson might sneak off the board here for the Rams at some point. It all depends on how that NFL Combine goes, how the Senior Bowl goes for some of those players, and who actually declares. Because this entire draft board might be completely skewed if Dante Moore decides to go back for another year at Oregon, which
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it happening either way. I more see him coming out because he's pretty much secured the second pick as long as he doesn't completely fall on his face at the combine. And plus, they also, I just believe they got the Nebraska quarterback in the transfer portal yesterday. So that tells me they're looking for a replacement for Moore already.
Yeah, for sure. The tea leaves are adding up, and yeah, no, I just everything that I've read it and watched and heard people talk about it sounds like the smartest move for him is going to be to come out. As everybody talked about how great the 2026 draft class was going to be for quarterbacks, obviously we all know now that it's not. And coming in to next year, he could, instead of being the second quarterback off the board, he could be the fifth, sixth, seventh, maybe, depending on who comes out and how they play. Fatty wants to know who is at six. He just wants to hear me pronounce his name again.
I already
It's
messed it up once, so you can go for this one.
Francis Muegoa. There you go. That sounds professional.
That's pretty close.
But follow us along over the next few months. We'll be doing a show like this probably every other week, more than likely. Right back at you, Jared. We'll do a show like this every other week. Obviously, we'll keep up with the draft storylines, and as Matt alluded to, obviously there'll be the combine and everything coming up. So, but great show. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you having me on, or putting this together, and that'll close us out. So that's our first episode of the Factory of Mock Drafts. Feel free to like, subscribe, follow us on Network 216. Matt, why don't you close us out, bud?
Well, thank everybody for watching that did watch. This is our first one, like he said. Obviously, a lot of things are going to change, so put in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, if there's other people's teams other than the Browns watching, they can tell me from the fan base what they like. I like doing my mock drafts based off of what the fans want, because that's the most important person in the NFL for me, the fans. Because without us, they're not getting paid those millions of dollars. So I thank everyone for watching, and I will see everyone next time.
Good night.